Hello everyone, I welcome you all to Ganesh IAS Academy. In today's session, we'll be seeing environment-based current affairs from March 28th to April 4th, 2024. Let us get into the news articles one by one. The first news that we are going to discuss for today is about Sundarbans. Sundarbans, the mangrove forest. Okay, so why is Sundarbans in news and what are all the details about Sundarbans that we need to know from exam point of view? All these we'll be handling in this section. The Sundarbans face numerous environmental challenges. Many environmental challenges like water scarcity, especially freshwater scarcity, pollution from microplastics and chemicals, and coastal erosion. These are all the problems that are faced by the environmental challenges that are faced by Sundarbans. Thus, it is important to look for sustainable solutions to protect this ecosystem. Okay, so here we need to understand what is mangrove forest, what is Sundarbans, and what are all the different features and characteristics of Sundarbans ecosystem. Okay, so Sundarbans host largest mangrove forest in the world. This is a well-known fact that we all know, and it is lying on the delta of Ganges, Brahmaputra, and Meghna rivers on the Bay of Bengal. Three rivers: Ganges, Brahmaputra, and Meghna. Their delta region form Sundarbans. And what is mangrove ecosystem? It is a specialized ecosystem on environment which is lying between the land and the sea in tropical and subtropical region. Thus, mangrove ecosystem can also be considered an ecotone, a transition zone from one zone to another, from terrestrial to aquatic. Okay, so this is what we need to know here. And this this Sundarbans is home to many rare and globally threatened wildlife species like estuarine crocodile, water monitor lizards, and gangetic dolphin, and even olive ridley turtle. Okay, and many species are known to feed, breed, and take shelter in this ecosystem, that is Sundarbans ecosystem. And of the total Sundarbans, 40% lies in India and the rest 60% lies in Bangladesh. So if you see here, this is the demarcation line between India and Bangladesh. Okay, so 40% lies this side and the rest 60% lies this side, Bangladesh side. Okay, so these facts are also important from exam point of view. And this Sundarbans was designated as UNESCO World Heritage Site in the year 1987 itself in India and in the year 1997 in Bangladesh. So thus, it is UNESCO World Heritage Site. And Sundarban wetland in India was recognized as wetland of international importance under Ramsar Convention in the year 2019. So it is wetland of international importance which is coming under Ramsar sites. Okay, and it is also coming under Project Tiger. That is because Project Tiger is one of the most important steps in conserving the Sundarbans. Okay, so this Project Tiger is there for conservation and preservation of Royal Bengal tiger population, and in turn it is also protecting the ecosystem. Okay, and in 2011 both India and Bangladesh signed an MOU on conservation of Sundarbans, thus recognizing the need to monitor and conserve the Sundarbans. Okay, so this MOU is also there. Moreover, Sundarbans is also a biosphere reserve. Okay, we saw that it is coming under Ramsar site, it is under Project Tiger, and it is also UNESCO's World Heritage Site. Other than that, it is also a biosphere reserve. Okay, so it is also a biosphere reserve within which there are several protected areas like other national parks, sanctuaries, and etc. Okay, so the other protected areas here are Sundarbans National Park, which is there in India, Sundarbans East Wildlife Sanctuary, South Wildlife Sanctuary, and West Wildlife Sanctuary, all three in India, and Sundarban Reserve Forest, which is there in Bangladesh. So in India, if we consider, there is one national park and three sanctuaries, that is East, South, and West in Sundarbans. Okay, all these are part of Biosphere Reserve, Sundarban Biosphere Reserve, and even this Reserve Forest of Bangladesh will also fall under the Biosphere Reserve category of Sundarbans. Okay, so What are all the challenges that are faced by Sundarbans? In the initial slide itself, we saw that it faces freshwater availability challenge and other challenges. Let us discuss each one as briefly as possible. So, freshwater scarcity. This is because of the saline nature of the rivers. The three rivers that we saw, Ganges, Brahmaputra and Meghna, all these three are saline in nature, because they are bringing a lot of minerals in them, salts. Okay, thus it becomes saline in nature, impacting both the ecosystem and the livelihoods of the inhabitants here. And pollution and erosion is yet another problem that is faced by Sundarbans. So microplastics, chemicals from industrial activities and waste disposal, these are all the problems here. And sea level rise is also a major issue. So Sundarbans is facing nearly double the sea level rise when compared to other coastal regions of India. And human wildlife conflict is also there present in Sundarbans, especially the conflict between tiger and human population. So particularly with species like tigers, it poses significant challenge to both conservation efforts and safety of the local communities. We are going for conservation efforts of the animals. Okay, conservation efforts are taken for protecting the animals, but then we are also having this problem of safety that must be given to local community. So these two are in conflict. Okay, human animal conflict is there. They both share the same location. That is what the problem is. So these are all the challenges that are faced by Sundarbans. So from exam point of view, where is it located? What are all the rivers that are involved in it? What are all the different kind of protection status that is given to Sundarbans? All these details are important. The topic that we are going to discuss now is bridge fuel. Which fuel, fossil fuel, is called as bridge fuel, and why is it called bridge fuel? What are all the different characteristics of that particular fossil fuel? All these we must have to understand. Let us get into the details. Natural gas has been called bridge fuel. Okay, so which fossil fuel? Natural gas is called as bridge fuel for countries who are looking to transition away from coal and oil dependency, and as they pursue a path towards renewables and electrification. These days, countries are transitioning from fossil fuel dependent to electrification. Okay, so in this process, there must be a transition fuel. Okay, I'm going from point A to point B. Okay, renewables and electrification here. Here it is oil dependent and coal dependent. But while moving from here to here, this transition will happen through the bridge fuel, that is natural gas here. Okay, here again there is a debate that fossil fuel, natural gas is again a fossil fuel. Okay, so it is also going to emit carbon dioxide, but one important aspect that we have to see here is that it is going to emit lesser carbon dioxide than coal. That is the reason why we are considering natural gas as a bridge fuel. Okay, a bridge fuel is a transitional fuel which powers the society with minimal environmental impact while transforming to cleaner renewable energy sources. Okay, so the same point. And then what is the objective of the bridge fuel? It is to replace the current fossil fuel dependent energy sources with renewable energy alternatives that are free from greenhouse gas emissions. Okay, so the ultimate aim is that we must be free from greenhouse gas emissions. And now we are emitting a lot of greenhouse gas. And in the process, in transition, we must be emitting lesser. And that option is natural gas. This is what we need to know. So here we are talking about natural gas. So from exam point of view, we need to know what is natural gas, what is its composition, what is it made of. Okay, so let us get into those details. Natural gas, it is a non-renewable resource, as we all know. Yes, it is a non-renewable resource, and it is classified as a fossil fuel, and it comprises a mixture of gases that are abundant in hydrocarbons, just like petroleum and coal. Okay, so it is primarily consisting of colorless and odorless methane. So the primary composition of the natural gas here is methane, CH4, whose whose composition ranges from 70 to 90 percentage, and further it has other components like ethane and propane also. So methane ethane and propane. Okay, the first three hydrocarbons, and then alkanes. So it includes carbon dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, and nitrogen as impurities. So natural gas will be having methane, ethane, and propane as the major components, and it also has minor impurities like carbon dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, and nitrogen. Moreover, many view natural gas as a bridge fuel. That is because it is going to emit lesser greenhouse gas emissions. Okay, so lower greenhouse gas emissions during combustion. That is the reason why it is called as a bridge fuel here. Okay, so what else do we have to understand from natural gas? Its formation. How are natural gas formed? How is natural gas formed? Okay, so millions of years ago, the remains of plants and animals built up in thick layers on the earth's surface and ocean floor. On the earth's surface, millions of years ago, a thick layer of remains of plants and animals are building up, and sometimes it is also mixed with sand, silt, and calcium carbonate. And what will happen over the time? These layers were buried under sand, silt, and rock. So these will go under, and then the surface, the new surface is this. Now it has gone under, gone beneath. Okay, and because of pressure and heat, pressure is applied and heat is also applied here. Okay, so because of high pressure and heat, some of the carbon and hydrogen rich material is converted into coal and sometimes into petroleum and sometimes into gas. So solid coal, liquid oil, petroleum, and then the gas, natural gas. All these are fossil fuels. So this is generally a process how fossil fuels are made, and one component here is the natural gas component. Okay, natural gas reserves are deep inside the earth. So where can we find natural gas? They are deep inside the earth, similar to coal and petroleum, oil. Okay, so this is what we need to know here. Now the uses of natural gas. We are extracting natural gas and it is going to be used as a bridge fuel, but what are all the different applications that it has? That we need to know. So we can use it for power generation. So natural gas powers electricity generation. Yes, electricity generation, natural gas. Next is for heating purposes, for warming homes, buildings, and water, we can use natural gas. And for cooking purposes also, like we can use it as a fuel in stove, oven, and other cooking applications. And industrial processes, even in industrial processes, we can use natural gas. So they are used for manufacturing, drying, and other chemical reactions. Moreover, it is also used in transportation sector, that it can be used as a fuel in vehicles like buses, trucks, cars, and they are often used in the compressed or liquefied form. You might have heard this term CNG, compressed natural gas. So here it is used in the compressed form. And then it is also used in fertilizer production process. So natural gas is a key ingredient in the production of ammonia based fertilizers, and natural gas emits 50% less carbon dioxide than coal, making it a cleaner energy source. So when compared to coal, it is emitting lesser carbon dioxide, but still it is a fossil fuel which emits carbon dioxide. That must be kept in mind. Okay, so this is what we need to know from this particular topic, that is bridge fuel. The topic that we are going to discuss now is Clean Energy Transitions Program. So what is this Clean Energy Transition Program? Which organization is introducing this program? All these details we must have to know. So recently the International Energy Agency has launched Clean Energy Transition Program. So which is the organization? It is International Energy Agency. So we must have to get into the details of the International Energy Agency also, and they have released or launched their annual report for 2023. That is why it is in news. So now let us understand about the program first, and then get into the details of International Energy Agency, and then analyze the highlights of the report. This is how we are going to see. So Clean Energy Transition Program, it is the flagship program which was launched by International Energy Agency in which year? In 2017, for taking action to achieve clean energy transformation worldwide. Obviously, the objective is transition to clean energy. Okay, and the program utilizes the agency's expertise and influence to offer analysis, technical assistance, and capacity building to developing countries for clean energy transition. So here the focus must be on the developing countries. So they are focusing on developing countries. And then this clean energy transition program work is structured into three pillars, okay, across three pillars. What are the three pillars of activity here? First is supporting emerging and developing countries to establish clean energy transition goals, okay. Countries must set clean energy transition goals. For that, this program is giving a support, okay. So this is in line with the objectives of 2015 Paris Agreement and Sustainable Development Goal 2030, which has the target year as 2030, which was established by United Nations. Okay, so it is in line with Paris Agreement as well as Sustainable Development Goal, and it facilitates coordination among multilateral organizations such as G20 and UN affiliated collaborations. Moreover, it is also there to enable and accelerate clean energy transition at global level. So these are all the three pillars of activity under CETP, Clean Energy Transition Program. And now we need to understand about International Energy Agency, which has launched this program. So what is this International Energy Agency? It was established in 1974 as an autonomous intergovernmental organization under OECD. Okay, and what is the aim of this International Energy Agency? It is to ensure reliable, affordable, clean energy for its member countries and beyond. Moreover, where is its headquarter located? Its headquarter is at Paris, France. And talking about the reports that is published by International Energy Agency, we have this World Energy Outlook report. Okay, such questions are repeatedly asked in UPSC prelims examination, that so and so report is published by which organization or which body, which institution. So you must be aware of these details also, that World Energy Outlook report is published by International Energy Agency. And what are all the focus area of International Energy Agency? One is energy security, another is economic development, and then comes environmental awareness and engagement worldwide. So these are all the four different focus areas of International Energy Agency. And how many members are there under this agency? Now, at present, it has 31 member countries and 8 associate countries. And is India a member of this association? Yes, India is an associate member since 2017. Okay, all these details are important. Next is, we need to understand the report and the highlight of the report. So this report of 2023 outlines the program's achievement in the past year, that is in 2022-23. Okay, thus emphasizing its focus on emerging markets and developing economies. So the focus is entirely on the emerging markets and the developing economies. So what are all the highlights of the report? Introduction of new fuel standards for trucks in Indonesia. This was recently there. And then the energy transition plan in Uganda, which was recently done. Moreover, regulations for spot electricity market in China. All these efforts taken worldwide are aligned with IEA recommendation. This is one of the major highlight of this report. Okay, and then the report also mentions significant publications like Latin America Energy Outlook and World Energy Outlook Special Report, and this special report is on universal access to clean cooking in Africa. So these are all the highlights that have been mentioned in this particular report, and this is what we need to know from this particular topic, that is CETP. The topic that we are going to discuss now is Caracal. What is this Caracal? Caracal is a wild cat. Why is Caracal in news? Let us get into the details of Caracal. Recently, there was a concern regarding the conservation of Caracal species. Okay, so from exam point of view, we will be understanding about the conservation status, about the different characteristics and features of Caracal. Okay, so with only an estimated 50 individuals remaining in India that took predominantly in Western India, Caracal is on the verge of extinction in India. That is the reason why it is a major concern now. And where can we find this Caracal? Ranthambore Tiger Reserve in Rajasthan and Kutch region of Gujarat. These are the two strongholds for Caracals in India, and even there we have 28 and 20 individuals. In Ranthambore we have 28 individuals, and in Kutch we have 20 individuals. Only this much. Okay, so approximately 50 are left. So they are on the verge of extinction in India. Okay, so we need to take conservation efforts to conserve this species, that is caracal. Now let us understand the details of the caracal. This is how it looks. It is a medium-sized wild cat which is native to Africa, Middle East, Central Asia and South Asia including India. So it is native to India also, and in India caracal is called Sia Ghosh. Okay, Sia Ghosh, which is the Persian name that translates as black ear. Sia Ghosh means black ear. If you see here, it is having a black ear. That is the reason why it is called Sia Ghosh in India. Okay, the local name. And then a Sanskrit fable is also there, a short story is also there, which exists about a small wild cat which is named as Dirgha Karn. What is Dirgha Karn? Dirgha Karn means long eared. So probably this fable is about Sia Ghosh or Caracal. Okay. And then what are all the different characteristics of Caracal? That it has long legs, a short face and a long canine teeth. Canine teeth is there, and it has distinctive ears that are long and pointy with tufts of black hair at the tips. So the ear is long and pointy and it has tufts of hair, okay, black hair, and it is an elusive animal, which means its sightings are not common. We cannot find them very commonly. Okay, thus it is elusive and it is primarily nocturnal also. Okay, they are active only after sunset. That is the term that we use for nocturnal. Okay, so nocturnal means those animals which are active after sunsets, and it is carnivore. It is typically prey. It typically preys upon small mammals, birds and rodents, and it has traditionally been valued for its flexibility and its extraordinary ability to catch birds in flight. Even those birds which are in flight can be caught by this caracal. Okay, where can we find caracal? Its habitat. Okay, they live naturally in India, especially in northwestern part, and they are also found in Africa, Middle East and Central Asia, which we already discussed. And in India they are found in Aravalli hill range, semi-deserts, savannas, scrublands and other dry forests. And caracals are used to, earlier they used to live all over the central India and Indo-Gangetic plains, but they haven't been spotted in those areas for 40 years. So their population is slowly declining. Okay, so this is what we need to know, and that is the reason why we need to take conservation efforts. And coming to the conservation status of caracal, it is listed as least concerned in IUCN Red List globally, but in India they are near threatened. So globally they are least concerned, but in India they are near threatened. This fact is important, and it falls in the Schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act of 1972, and it is under Appendix 1 of CITES Convention. That is Convention on International Trade of Endangered Species of Wild Flora and Fauna. And what are all the threats that are faced by caracal? First is large-scale hunting, and then illegal trading, and then loss of natural habitat. These are the major threats that are faced by caracal. Okay, so this is what we need to know from this particular topic, that is caracal. The topic that we are going to discuss now is genetic profiling of captive elephants. Okay, so let us understand what is genetic profiling and why are they doing genetic profiling for captive elephants. What is the need? We need to know this. So genetic profiling of captive elephants where in Kerala is set to begin soon. So why are they doing? Let us understand that one by one. And which organization is carrying out this genetic profiling? It is the Wildlife Institute of India. So Wildlife Institute of India is conducting the profiling to include elephants information in a national database called as Gaja Suchna. Okay, and what are captive elephants here? Those elephants that are held in captivity by humans, typically for the purposes like work, tourism, and religious ceremonies. And when compared to other states, Kerala has many captive elephants. Okay, so Kerala has 407 captive elephants with about 25 elephants death annually. Okay, so here we need to understand about genetic profiling and captive elephants. What is genetic profiling? Genetic profiling means genetic testing, and it involves examining an individual's DNA to detect variations or mutations that are linked to traits, diseases, or conditions. So, what are all the mutations that are linked to any disease or any traits that is there in a species, and then even other conditions that is there in the species? This genetic link that we need to know is known with the help of genetic profiling. Okay, and this analysis offers insights into individuals genetic composition, and it serves multiple purposes, including assessing disease susceptibility, tracing ancestry, and informing personalized medical care. So when we know what is to be done with the personalized medical care and who are the ancestors, then we have to go for genetic profiling, and it aligns with the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, the ministry's effort to regulate elephant transfers following the rules, that is captive elephant transfer or transport rules 2024. A detailed discussion about this rule of 2024 was also done in one of our previous session. Kindly go watch it. Okay, now genetic profiling of captive elephants in Kerala. So what is the need for genetic profiling? That is because Kerala, which was previously known for having the largest captive elephant population, is experiencing a significant decline in numbers. This is the reason why they are going for genetic profiling, so that they know if there are any traits that are being carried from one generation to another, any disease, all these are to be assessed. So if we know a clear-cut idea of what is happening inside and what are all the changes that are happening in the gene and DNA level, then we can address it. Okay, so that is the reason why it is happening. And here we need to talk about the mobile app, that is Gaja Suchna mobile app. So the Wildlife Institute of India has developed a mobile application called as Gaja Suchna, allowing officials from all state forest departments to access this data. And this initiative aims to monitor the movement of captive elephants within and between the borders of the states. And then the database will aid in identifying elephants lacking valid certificates. This is also there. Okay, so these are all the factors that we need to consider from this particular thing, that is Gaja Suchna mobile app. And then we also need to understand the details of the Wildlife Institute of India, which is taking these efforts to assess the genetic profiling. Okay, so it is an internationally acclaimed institution which offers training program, academic courses and advisory in wildlife research and management, and it was established in the year 1982 as an attached office of the Ministry of Environment and Forest, and subsequently it was granted an autonomous status in the year 1986, and it carries research in areas of biodiversity, endangered species, wildlife policy, wildlife management and wildlife forensics. Okay, so these are all the areas, and there are many more areas in which Wildlife Institute of India carries research. Okay, and this is one such research, that is genetic profiling of captive elephants of Kerala. Okay, so this is what we need to understand from this particular news. So with this we have come to end of today's discussion. Let us see in the next discussion. Thank you all.